So, what would you recommend to first time real estate investors or real estate agents just beginning their path? What
Yeah.
their mentality should be, how they should be prepared to face challenges,
Yeah.
to push forward for all.
Yeah. You bet. You bet. So again, it will be easier to look at this on a broader perspective. And in one of my books, Your Royal Path to Riches, gets into the conscious mind and how that goes into the subconscious mind. That it is easier as we look at that. So, for example, I'm starting real estate or I want to be a real estate investor. If I start saying things like, man, I got to be prepared for challenges, then I like putting it in the simple way that God has to make challenges for us. That, okay? And so, yeah, we got to watch what we're asking for because we're going to get it whether we want it or not. So, again, this is a broader perspective coming in now that this world, Pedro, has everything that we want in it and everything that we don't want. And we have to brush up against the things we don't want in order to create new thoughts and new energy that helps us to a brighter future, to what we do want. So when you start looking at life and, it's whatever, the people in the past, arguments you've had, lost job, not enough money, all of that, God has never felt sad one time for any of us on anything that has happened to us. Because God instantly knows when the contrast comes, instantly knows exactly what we want. God knows where we are and knows how to get there, the easiest path in order to get there. And so right when that contrast happens, so let's say a deal falls through, that I say, oh my gosh, this is simply, and so the technique is simply point, don't put a bunch of energy into it, say, that's what I don't want. That deal going south, whatever, that's what I don't want. And then ask. And it's this idea about ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and you shall find. That you ask, what do I want? And all of a sudden, you'll start having answers. Well, wow, I want to build my business. I want to attract people that, are ready, willing, and able. That's a great one. And so in any business, if you just start saying to yourself, I want to attract people, what happens though is most people, they're focused on, oh, I can't believe that person, said no. And they're thinking about it all the time. And they go home and tell their spouse about it. And they're putting it on Facebook and, whatever. And they're just building. They're going to attract more no's than they know what to do with. And so for us to be able to not be in our pity party, but to say, hey, it's simply what I don't want. And then ask what I do want. And I guarantee you that will create a brighter future for you. So some very practical things to think about, because remember, thought is where it all starts. So if you want to build your business, real estate agent, investor, or whatever, that it all starts with my thought. How am I thinking? So if I think it's hard, that, real estate is slow, then I have agents and doing so much business. I coming to mind, I have an agent in Colorado right now that I think she's had 71 listings this year. I mean, and it's so much that I don't even like telling people because they don't believe it. Because see, they can't comprehend that. We have this ceiling over there. And a lot of these are just properties, if you will, without a home on. But, the fact is we need to expand our imagination, our creativity, and there are ways to do that and to ask for that. And so some practical ways to think about this is, I want to build my business. Okay? And every one of you listening to this, I would go ahead and write that down. I want to build my business. I want to attract ready, willing, and able, whatever, properties, buyers, sellers, whatever it is. And it will be like magic when you're only focused on that. But again, people are disallowing. It's very easy to get to, well, I'm going to do what Dr. Hank says. Yeah.
Dr. Hank, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Well, for someone that it's not trained yet on how to be this positive,
Sure.
how can they deal with powerful negative emotions such as rejection, from a client or
Sure.
from a deal? Because those sometimes those negative emotions can be very overwhelming and,
Yeah.
and can put you in a state of mind where just to push forward is very difficult. So how can they start brushing off those negative and how to switch them to positive? What would you recommend?
You bet. So it all starts with what I call pre-paving, P-R-E dash paving, P-A-V-I-N-G. So think of it as a road, a path, your path that you want here. And I need to, so what most people do is they wake up in the morning, oh, I got this call, I got that call, whatever, I got to go out and, market this, area, whatever that they're doing. And, and so what they'll get is they'll get life by default. But I have what's called a joy shop, J-O-Y, and shop, S-H-O-P. And this is the first thing that you do in the morning. And when you become deliberate and intentional, and this is becoming truly a deliberate creators. We're all creators. Just most of us are creating a bunch of stuff we don't want. Okay, at lack, limitation, and then we fight for our lack of limitation. Say, oh, no, it's true. Look at this, look at that. And that's one thing that people, we've been taught, why don't you face reality? So we look at that rejection, those no's, those, things that don't feel good, that aren't good, aren't what we want. And we think they're reality. But I shared with you before, reality is created in what my thoughts are. And so if I am going to think about what is in front of me right now, I'm just going to get more of it. So hopefully it's good, but in most cases, it's not as good as we want. And so this joy shot prepares your day and how these calls are going to be, how you're going to feel better. You're going to have better feeling thoughts, how you're going to have out of the blue clients come to you, how you're going to get referrals. As you start thinking only about what you want, it's only possible to get what you want. And this is where one of the quotes I'm known for is when people say, Dr. Hank, you're like an ostrich, your head's in the sand, get out of the sand, and why don't you face reality? And my answer is because they think reality is what's going on in their lives. And my response is, I'm never going to face reality. I'm going to create it. And I create it with my thoughts. Thoughts become things proven by science. And the only thing that is different between my teaching and what the scientists say is I include our higher power. I include God.
Very well, very well. Dr. Hank, at the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned LEAD programs, correct?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in one of my books, Your GPS to Real Estate Success, 5 Steps to Real Estate Agents Prosperity, that I have exclusive LEAD programs. And so I'll share one of them is a new home builder program. And where this was created, it's really been out of my experience and my experiences and me asking for what I want, and something I have all of us write down is, I want answers and solutions. Okay. I can't sit on the problem and expect to get the answer. I got to be asking for answers and solutions. So about 12 years ago, a real estate agent came to me and said, listen, I have 4 kids. They're all under the age of 6. So, which means I have very little time and I need lots of money. And so we talked a little about it, and I said, "Hey, what builders do you know?" She said, "Oh, we have a builder, near me." And I said, "Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we start a formal relationship with this, the sales consultant, not necessarily even the builder, okay, with the sales consultant. And in this program, again, this LEADS program, which is the new builders LEADS program, that because what do most agents do with new build? They walk in with their business card and they talk hey, if you got any buyers that aren't being represented by an agent, have them give me a call. And they go, okay, no problem. When you leave, that card gets tossed and you never hear from them. Well, I have a way in order to build relationships. So my LEAD programs aren't about technology, aren't about social media, nothing about that. They're really about connecting with the people you know or don't know. And so that includes the people that, for example, the new home sales consultants. And so you build these relationships. And so with this lady, that she built this relationship, and I have flyers that you give and how to present and, how to do it and all this great information. So it's all done easily. And for the past 12 years that she has made over $300,000 a year, worked maybe 5 hours a week, because basically they just call her. And after that development, grew out and was built up, then she got referrals to other sales consultants and just continued to grow her business and build these relationships where she was the preferred agent. And there are ways, the way the program is positioned, in order where everybody benefits. The builder benefits, the sales consultant benefits, and of course the agent benefits. So that's one LEAD program. Another LEAD program that it's this listing program like I'm sharing with in Colorado. I just on Friday had an agent call me and say, this program is just amazing. I went and did what you asked me to do. And I got 3 listings out of it, plus a buyer. It's just fantastic. And basically, it's sharing the good news, picking out farming an area, and that area. And there are easy ways to be able to start connecting with those people and to share the good news. So most people would, most agent would say, I just talked with an agent last week and was saying to me, oh man, the real estate is so slow and interest rates are. And I said, you bought into what the media was saying. You bought into your committee, which we haven't been talking about yet, but it's our lower self. It's that chattering little mind of fear, worry, doubt, complaining, blame, shame, guilt. And the head of that committee in our little head, at these big executive chairs, which made it so powerful, is the judge. And mainly they're judging you and saying, why, you're not very good. So this agent from last week bought into what the media is saying and bought into what other people are saying and whatever. I have agents that are more successful right now, closing more business than ever. And the reason why is it doesn't matter what's going on in the outside world. It has to do what's going on in our inside world, which is what are we thinking? How are we feeling? As long as I'm feeling good, I'm thinking like I have power, and it'll take me to everything that I want. So this listing program is sharing the good news. So for example, is anybody sharing that interest rates in the last 30 years actually are a little below what the average has been the last 30 years? And so people think that the interest rates are high. They're not high at all. Now they're relative to when it was deflated, the interest rate, to where it was at 3%. Well, we need to educate people, and this is where you're sharing the good news and helping people to realize that you're going to have a long wait if you're waiting for 3% interest rates. Probably not this lifetime, okay? And then also to help people understand they're not living in their dream home anymore. You know, a lot of things have changed. The pandemic, I need another Zoom room. I need a bigger backyard for the kids. I'm getting older. I need one story. There's all kinds of reasons why most people aren't living in their dream home. This is our responsibility to start sharing the good news, to get people into their dream home, to have them pay less per month than they currently are. Excuse me, to have them make more money than they ever did in one day selling their home, right? And they're putting a lot of equity into their dream home, which is right sizing. There is no downside. Nobody wants a down. I don't want to downsize anything. I want to right size. And right size can be less square footage or, whatever. No, I don't need as many bedrooms. The kids are out. So there is an endless path to the good news that we can do. And with that listing program, that I can help you be able to do all listing, have as many listings as you want, and all done easily. And see, a lot of people's, their committee will come in and, oh, well, if I get too much business, I'll be too busy and can't have balance. Like, well, that isn't true at all. There's asks for answers and solutions to that. And then just one other, I love the first responders program. There is a way and a whole program. These are programs and a whole strategy behind these. First responders is connecting with first responders and showing them these amazing opportunities, deals that they can, get things for discounts and to really help first responders. And there's all kinds of ways, and you can do it from government ways, et cetera. And that's what that program is as well. And then referral program. So those are some of the key lead programs. And any one of them, that basically what I do is I do one-on-one with people, and I say, hey, let's talk about, do you have a list? Do you know people or not? Doesn't matter. Just need to know where you're at, what you feel comfortable with, because that's the other thing. People, I can literally help anybody make easily have 4 closings within the next 45 days, whatever. I have cash buyers even. If you start asking for cash buyers, you'll have cash buyers, and you could be able to, close in 8 days or whatever. Again, it's back to this mindset. But what's going on? Why are people using this one step that I can give them? And it basically is when we were kids, we were told, don't talk to strangers. And they said it in such a way, they meant well, but they said it in such a way that it was like, wow, somebody's going to kill me, because we picked up that vibration. You didn't say it, but we picked up that vibration. And when we were 16 or 18 or 21 or whatever age, those people thought it would be okay. They never told us, oh, it's okay to talk to strangers. Yeah, I know strangers. We're all connected here together. We're all connected with God, we all know the same basic things. Every one of us want a long, happy, healthy, wealthy life. If you start saying that sentence, again, I would write this down, long, happy, healthy, wealthy life, that if you're only thinking about that, that's all you'll get. So people, back to the fear that people have, which is false evidence appearing real, and I help people to turn fear from false evidence appearing real to face everything and rise. Because when you realize that everybody in your life basically was a stranger, and when you were born, there was a strange mother, and everybody, so they're not strangers. We're all in this together. And all of us become successful with each other. None of us will be successful trying to do it on our own and by ourselves, et cetera. And so when we change this mindset and get comfortable of just sharing this good news, just think how many committee members are in there saying like, oh, I don't want to be salesy, or, oh, I don't want to bother them, or, they got all this stuff going on in their head where, what are you talking about? We're supposed to share our talents, and our talents are real estate investor, agent, broker, whatever it is. And we're us, we're amazing. Each one of us are amazing. And for us to step forward and face everything and rise.